What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to check out something new from Betafpv. It's another 3.5 inch quad, and this one can run on 3 and 4S. Today I'm running an eSheen 1100 battery on here, and that's going to get me about 6 to 7 minutes flight time with a Firefly X Lite camera on there. I have the mount on there, and previously you saw on the channel that I had a pretty good crash with the Firefly. And I have to say, it's pretty durable. I crashed into a curb. I did break the top part of the mount off of the Firefly X, but the good thing is that it has two mounts positions on there. It has a larger GoPro size one for 5-inch quads, and it also has a smaller one for these type of quads for the TPU mounts. So kind of nice that I had an extra mount option on this mount. So two mount options. I've never really seen that before in any camera mount, but the good news is that the Firefly X survived the crash with a little bit of damage on the left hand side, just a few scratches here, and that's pretty much it. And in this review today we're going to show you some footage from this. I have it mounted like this on an inverted mount. You can also switch the image as well, which is kind of nice, but we're running 4S today again, and 3.5 inch props on this one. And we'll go over the specs and we'll check this one out a little closer on the bench. It is called the X-Knight series, and it's the X-Knight 3.5. If you want to check that out in the link down below, you can. We're also running 35-23 blade props on here today, and some pretty nice motors, 1404 3800 kV brushless motors, XT30 in the back, and that handy plug that comes along with the Firefly X Lite here. Just plug that into the battery and that powers the camera. So the coolest thing about this camera so far, I think, is this power connector, because I can plug it into any lead, and that means I can switch this on and off so many quads that we review on the channel. So I can keep showing you more footage from the Firefly X. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go outside now and fly it with the Polar Vista on board. It looks great in low light, or even at night. This camera's doing really well in the community. Here we go. my friends, welcome back from the flight test. 147 grams on the scale without the camera and the battery. So if I add the 1100 battery on there, that's going to get us up to 236 grams with the mount, and the Firefly up to 276. So if you wanted to back this down under 250 grams, I would suggest flying something like a 550 or maybe even the 850. This Firefly is a little heavier than some of the other action cameras out there. I'm just going to weigh it. But for the price, I mean, 34 grams is pretty acceptable for 4K video at 60 frames per second, along with the cable that gets us up to 40 grams. And the mount gets us up to 46 grams with all that gear on the quad. But I'm pretty happy with this quad. Honestly, when I took off for the first time for my flight test, I noticed one thing about this particular quad. It felt light and it felt fast. So the 3.5-inch props are pretty forgiving, even with the camera on board. And it's nice because when you do come around from those high tree dives or things like that, this quad is not heavy feeling, which is great. If you're going to freestyle this one, you can even probably expect like 6 minutes flight time. If you're going to long distance fly this one, throw the 1100 on there, and I honestly think you could get like 10 minutes flight time out of this quad. So it says on the website you guys can get like maybe 13 minutes, but I don't think so. So the way I fly, I'm getting probably 7 minutes on the average, but I'm kind of high on the throttle. Now I do like that this quad features braced arms, very similar to the Racer X series. The X-Knight series comes from Racer X, and bracing in the front and the back. So this one should be pretty durable in a forward crash. However you go in, it should be extra durable. And it looks like we have 3mm unibody bottom plate. We've got covered up wires going to each motor. And it looks like the flight controls are on a 45 because the USB port is back here on the left side of the quad in the rear. And you have plenty of room for the Caddx Vista. The wiring goes up front to the Polar. And so far I'm really liking the Polar because out here in Oregon we've had a lot of rain recently, and this Polar is really coming in handy because I've had a lot of overcast days. And this one you can fly all the way up into the darkest part of the day. Even as the sun is going down, you don't notice the difference between before the sun was up and when it's down, because this camera is nice. It's a Starlight camera, and again, it's the first Starlight camera that has DJI HD available on it. And you can crank this up to 700 milliwatt. If you're not familiar with Vista by now, which most of you are, that's pretty high. It's pretty intense. And you have options on here to run TBS Crossfire, so if you really wanted to send this one out there, you can do that. ELRS is also an option, and you can solder up an XLRS, actually an XSFR on there as well. So that's what I'm running today. You can do inverted S-Bus as well for XM Plus, the newer receivers that have been updated. But this video on this camera is 720p, and you can record at 60 frames per second, which is super cool. The ESC and flight controller on here, this is the Betafpv F4 AIO, and we have 20 amp BL Heli ESCs on here. That's a 4-in-1 all-in-one stack. You can see how it's just one layer there. And that will handle 3 to 4S. If you're a beginner, you can start out on like a 3S 850 on this quad if you want it to be kind of more docile and forgiving. But if you want that extra power and that freestyle kind of capability, kind of like a race car, you want the 4S on there. It just really wakes the quad up a lot. And I'm happy that this one is compatible with most of my small batteries. The motors on here are the 1404 3800 kV motors, 2-bolt configuration on the top of these props. And we have 4 bolts on the bottom. And I like to see that they just did an extra detail on this quad and put some TPU bumpers here. TPU plate in the back for holding your Immortal T. If you decide to do Crossfire off the back, you can do the Crossfire Mini as well. The Nano Mini antenna. And I had this routed up through here. It has a spot where you can bring it through this direction or have it down out through the back. But it's kind of nice because we have a top mount battery, which is great for freestyle. But this quad overall, it didn't give me any problems. I flew it several times, and it felt, the biggest thing that I have to say about this quad is that it felt flowy. The tune on here is good. I didn't see a lot of shudder on the bottom end of my dives, and it seems to freestyle or fly straight lines and track really well. So I think overall this one's a good buy. I wouldn't be scared of the X-Knight series. They've done me well. So more reviews, guys, coming up on the channel. You can check out our latest giveaway coming up for October. Within the next couple of days, we're going to announce the big giveaway for October. So congratulations again to Pilot Shark Hanger for winning the Fpv X8 Mini. Guys, get your comments in on this video and you'll be entered in for October's giveaway. X-Knight 3.5. You guys can check this one out in the link down below. This one's going to get 2 thumbs up for all the performance and the flight time on this. This is a good buy. So take care, guys. Keep it in the blue, and I'll see you on the next one.